Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
All right, so we are here on another blessed Sabbath. All thanks and praise to the Most High, Hayah, Bahashem Yeshaya, Wa'arawat. For those who do not speak the ancient Hebrew, that is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I am Bishop Taz. This is
Elder Nathaniel.
the House of Judah Fellowship,
Right.
House of Judah International Fellowship Church. First and foremost, we want to send our love to the church in Sierra Leone. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hope you're watching here today. Right. So the elder and I had a conversation about last week's lesson. It was a powerful lesson, a very timely lesson. But we looked at it and we figured, well, there's more to this. There's more that can go that's attached to what we talked about last week, that lesson being called the danger of losing focus. Now, the central theme of that particular lesson was surrounding the end times. Right? Mm-hmm. The distractions and the things that come, assessing our assets and our liabilities to make sure that the distractions in the time of temptation, in the hour of temptation, doesn't allow us to fall before time is up. Oh. But the central theme was time. Right? Was time. Right. See, you can understand how it is to walk upright, but still not understand what time we're in. Understand what I'm saying? Right. See, it's important to understand that we are living on the Most High's clock. Hence, the name of today's lesson, the Most High's clock. Right? So last week's lesson, to the lessons that we'll be doing in the next couple of weeks, will be in a series that we are going to be calling the Countdown to the Impending Judgment. The Countdown to the Impending Judgment. All of these lessons, these next couple lessons that we're going to be going through, are going to be lessons that are under that banner, the countdown to impending judgment. And today's lesson will be entitled The Most High's Clock. Right?
Part one.
Right. It has been said on numerous occasions that we are now living on borrowed time. And the Lord's day draws near with each passing day. Right? We've heard all of this. However, as our current conditions become more and more comfortable, the sense of urgency that is usually coupled with this saying soon fades. Right? Before, when you heard about the impending judgment, the day of the Lord, there was a conviction, there was a readiness, there was a need to be prepared for the time. But as the scriptures say, right? The hour of temptation, which we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. It tends to allow you to settle, to be comfortable. The scriptures say, when they say peace, know that war comes swiftly after. Mm-hmm. Right? Everything seems to be comfortable. Everything seems to be going right. And that sense of urgency when you hear the impending day of judgment, well, things feel too good. Mm-hmm. Things feel too right now for something like that. No, don't come with that judgment thing. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Mm-hmm. Things are finally going right for me. Mm-hmm. The business, I'm getting more business. People want to come to Black-owned businesses now. Mm-hmm. Those stimulus checks, the unemployment. I don't even got to pay rent because of the pandemic. I'm comfortable. I feel for the first time I'm worry-free. Mm-hmm. But in that comfortability, we become complacent. Right. Knowing the Most High's clock, right? And the time he put on judgment is important because prophecy written in the Old and New Testament are heavily based on this clock. Every prophecy we see within the Old and New Testament, from Matthew 24 to Isaiah to Ezekiel to Jeremiah, all of those are attached to the same clock. That's right. Right? Mm-hmm. You're all attached to the same clock. But if you have no knowledge of that clock, if you have no knowledge of the Most High's clock, you can't be ready. That's right. It's impossible to be ready. See, you can be prepared spiritually. You can have everything locked down, but you'll still be caught. Mm-hmm. Right? See, the prophets and the teachers who scribed these books understood when these things would occur. because they were living on his clock. This was before they sought to change times and laws as we see in the Old Testament. So they understood the Most High's clock. When they were writing, when they were scribing these prophecies as they were revealed to them by the Most High, they knew when they would occur. Today, we'll be learning about how to reckon time according to the Most High. And in doing that, we will learn about Christ's second coming, when he is coming, right? When his second coming was set according to the calendar that the Most High established in the heavens and the earth, right? This is how we'll figure, this is how we'll learn these things. That's the only way you do know. See, the scriptures do say that we know not the hour, the day or the hour, but he did say that we will know the season and the year.
Right. Right.
Right? You got anything out there?
No, sir.
Let's get 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1.
1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you.
Read that again.
But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you.
He said of the times and the seasons, you have no need that I write unto you. You already know the clock. You already know how a year, according to the Bible's works. You already know what a jubilee is. You already know what a week of years is. I don't need to explain that to you. So I'm not going to write that to you. Paul understood the Most High's clock. That's why he said, listen, you understand, but I understand, and we don't need to get into that.
Exactly.
Read.
Verse 2. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
It comes quietly. Like a ninja. see what they see. A lot of people take this as it's going to be quick. No, that's not quick. See, that thief in the night could have been in your house eating your bag of chips, going and watching TV. He could have been there for who knows how long in that night. But it's that quick when he comes in and he's gone. It seems quick, but in actuality, he had been there for you don't know how long. That heist could have taken 3 hours, but you were asleep. You were caught sleeping.
Yeah.
And when you're asleep, guess what happens to time? It goes by quick. 8 hours of sleep feels like 20 to 30 minutes gone. That's what thief in the night. To you, it seems quick, but that thief's been there for a while. Read.
Verse 3. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
And they shall not escape. It says that peace, when they shall say peace and safety, sudden destruction shall come upon them. See, think about it like this. You have a home protection service, right? So they set up all the monitors and everything like that in your house. But those people who set up the monitors and said, you're going to be safe now, you're completely guarded, those are the same people that are robbing your house. Think about it. They come in, they set up everything. It's like, yeah, you're safe, you're set up. But those same people know exactly how to get in. So they say, you know what? Peace and safety. Peace and safety. And those same people are coming in and robbing you. Think about it that way.
Wow.
The U.S. says, oh, we're going to protect black people. We're going to make sure that your rights, that your human rights are protected. You're safe now. Joe Biden's here. Sudden destruction shall come upon you. They say peace and safety, and sudden destruction shall come upon them. Wow. Just know that quickly. Anytime where they said that we were at peace, what's come after? The Native Americans, a treaty. What came soon after? Wow. The blacks were set free through the Emancipation Proclamation. What came soon after? The Ku Klux Klan, killing millions of our black men, hundreds of thousands of our black men. Sudden destruction shall come upon you. The Polynesians of the South Pacific, they say, you know what, let's make a treaty with you. Then no soon as they let their guard down, sudden destruction. It's a story that continues to repeat itself. Read.
Verse 4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that day should overtake you as a thief.
That day should overtake you as a thief. It says you aren't in darkness. Since you have the knowledge of the time in which judgment is to come, you are not in darkness. You are aware of when this time is coming. So that's speaking to the elect. It was common knowledge in the times of Apostle Paul when the second coming would occur, when the consummation of times would occur. And Paul makes it clear that if we're aware of the times and the seasons and of the second coming, we ought to be prepared. But for those who do not know, they would be caught as a thief in the night. See, the ones who are unaware, who refuse to hear, they'll be up in their bed sleeping while the elect are on watch. Right? The most dangerous part of not knowing the day of the second coming of Christ is that many will be caught by surprise. They'll be caught in their sin. The worst thing people can do understanding the times and seasons is to become complacent and comfortable. The worst thing that you can do, knowing the times and the seasons, is to be complacent and comfortable. This causes us to drag our feet on things that we know we're supposed to do for the Most High's work and end up falling to the devil just in time for Christ's return. Well, I could do that tomorrow. I could do that next week. It can wait. I got time. Right? That's the thought. I have all the time in the world. The elect cannot be caught off guard because we know what time we're in. See, the scriptures say if it were possible, would deceive the very elect. The very elect won't be caught off guard. If you were caught off guard, you weren't the elect. For those who do not know what time we're in, this lesson will educate you. You will know by the end of this lesson what time we are in. Matthew chapter 24, verse 36.
Matthew chapter 24, verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only.
It says no one knows the day or the hour, but the Most High. Christ doesn't even know. Christ is going to be sitting there, ready for me to go? Nah, not yet. Ready for me to go? Nah, not yet. And then one day Christ is going to say it's time to go. Most High going to say, go. This is on the Most High's time. Nobody knows the day or the hour. But then it said we wouldn't know the year or the time frame. Right? It says, but my Father only. No angel. All these people predicting, oh, the year 2000, 2012. 2020 is the year. 2022 is the year. Such and such is the day. How can you tell me what year Christ is coming back when you can't even tell me what year we're actually in? Let's get verse 37.
Verse 37. But as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
As the days of Noah were, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. Read.
4. As in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered into the ark.
They were doing everything like it was normal. Like nothing was coming. Like they had all the time in the world.
Right.
Read.
Verse 39. And knew not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be. Christ
compares his second coming to the times of Noah. See, the problem with this is that Christians will read this scripture all week, but they have no understanding as to what the days of Noah looked like. They have no idea what the days of Noah looked like. People don't know that in the days of Noah, they were hunting the righteous. They were looking to hunt and kill the righteous.
Wow.
Also in that time, they were mixing and splicing animals, birds, insects, creating new species, dealing with the fallen angels, creating giants and Nephilim consuming men. They destroyed the Most High's creation. Is this not the same things that we're seeing today? And when it says marrying and giving in marriage, these aren't righteous marriages. We're talking about full-on Sodom and Gomorrah here.
That's right.
Men marrying men, women marrying women, women turning themselves into men, men turning themselves into women. Enoch talks about all of this. Abortion. People think abortion is something new. That was a science that was brought to them by the fallen angels. In the Book of Enoch, it calls it the stroke of the fetus. How to kill a baby before it's born. People don't know this. These were the things that were happening in the time of Noah.
I think with them knowing that, another way they probably like cover it up to where it's not like direct in your face like how it was back in the days. They try to make it exciting or innovative, like, oh, we found a new species of this and that, or we try to mix these two, but they make it a cool looking creature where people think it's awesome. And then also with as far as like covering up the scheme to hunters and killers, they've just done it in a different way, like with the vaccines, to where it seems like it's to help you, or like they're running tests on us to help our population because we're the sick ones. Then that's just their way of doing it. So that makes it harder for people who aren't able to see, like you said, the importance of knowing the time. Like the pastors should be able to see and identify it, but because they don't know the scriptures, they're not able to see that that's what's really happening.
Exactly. The approach is the same. Notice that the vaccines that were given to most of our children were black young men. They were destroying the young black men of our nation. Remember what the Pharaoh did when he was trying to make sure that Moses was never born? What did he do? He called for the killing of the young boys. He said, if it's a girl, let him live. Let him live. If it's a boy, kill the man-child. But guess who he was having to do this? The nurses, the maid servants. He said, you know, when they're born, just snap the neck. If it's a boy, snap the neck. But when the maid servants refused, they would just rip them. They'll take the babies and they'll throw them into the rivers. But the Most High preserved those young men. When you read in the Book of Jasher,
let the girls live.
They said, let the women live, kill the young men. In Christ's time, what did Herod do? He ordered for the killing of the man-child. Now think about it. Now the target isn't just one man. It's all the men. Because the next man that could be born could be the next Hosea, could be Isaiah, could be Ezekiel, could be Jeremiah.
That's right.
They're hunting hundreds of thousands of our men before they're even born. And then our men who are already adults, what do we have for that? The prison system. Let's lock as many of the ones that are already born and put them in prison for unfair sentences. Let them become wicked and unrighteous, dealing with each other, killing each other, getting hooked on drugs. Let's destroy them before, so when they get out, they're a terror to society as opposed to a help to the society. The hunting has never stopped. The abortions, over 13 million abortions from 1973 to 2010.
Wow.
In 2018, over 600,000 abortions in just that year. And we're talking about how COVID is killing? There's only 200,000 more deaths this year than there was last year. But they leave out the almost 700,000 Black children that were murdered through abortion worldwide just that last year. As in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. These were the days of Noah. And these are the days that we're living in now. So the days of Noah and the time in which the Son of Man would come, we're living in those times now. Oh, we mixed a baby tiger and a baby lion. And look, it made a cute liger. It's like, oh yeah, it is pretty cute. You see the little teacup puppy? Not realizing that they're doing the same wickedness that they have been doing, and then find a weird behind looking fish in the ocean talking about some, look, we totally didn't create this. This is from the dinosaur era, 16 million years ago. Wow. And a lot making this stuff.
Wow. Wow.
It says, as in the days of Noah, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be. So when we're looking into the days of Noah, in order to get a full understanding of what the days of Noah were like, we need to go to the detailed account of the Genesis. Where do we find that? The book of Jasher. Jasher was not a man. The Jasher is a book. It's a record. It's called Book of the Upright Ones. Jasher means upright ones or righteous ones. So we're going to go to this book that was scribed by Moses and referenced in the book of Joshua and 2 Samuel.
Glad you said that.
Right? We did a lesson on this. We did a lesson in the past. If you want to know how we prove that Jasher is a book in the Bible, go and check out that lesson when this one is over. Let's get Jasher chapter 6, verse 13.
Jasher chapter 6, verse 13. And at the end of 7 days, in the 600th year of the life of Noah, the waters of the flood were upon the earth, and all the fountains of the deep were broken up, and the windows of heaven were open, and the rain was upon the earth 40 days and 40 nights.
Now, some people believe that it was only rain that caused the flood. Many people don't know that it was earthquakes, hurricanes, all kinds of natural tsunamis, catastrophes happening on the earth at that time. Between the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the tornadoes and the tsunamis, the earth was broken up. This is why the scriptures say the fountains of the deep were broken up. Prior to this event, the earth was one big landmass, what science calls Pangea. Right? So at the fountains of the earth being broken up and the shifting of the tectonic plates, the earth broke up. Right? And from those cracks, water spewed. So water was coming from the earth. And when it says that the windows of heaven were open, you have to understand that the foundations of heaven sits on water. So when the foundation of heaven were open, all the water that sat there fell to the earth. And the rain came and persisted. So this is a lot of water coming at one time. Read.
Verse 15. And Noah and his household and all the living creatures that were with him came into the ark on account of the waters of the flood, and the Lord shut him in.
See, Noah was already prepared. The ark was finished. All the animals were collectively in one place. All he was waiting for was the signal. The signal was the rain. When the rain started after the 120 years that the Most High promised, when the rain started, he said, time to go. See, the wicked are around here partying. You know, ain't no days of rain. Ain't no rain. Noah up here talking about how there's a flood that's going to come. Building this big behind boat. It ain't even rain. We ain't even seen rain. But the second that the rain started, Moses said, that's my signal. Time to go. Climbed on the boat. Read. Jasher chapter 6, verse 16.
Joshua chapter 6, verse 16. And all the sons of men that were left upon the earth became exhausted through the evil on the account of the rain.
You're like, dang, man, I'm trying to do this. It ain't rain for this long period of time. And now I decide I want to come down like cats and dogs out here, messing up my plans. Read.
For the waters were coming more violently upon the earth, and the animals and beasts were still surrounding the ark.
So you got all of the animals that existed in this time. The rest of the animals that weren't on the ark, dinosaurs, beasts. It says beasts. All the animals and beasts. You had dinosaurs coming and trying to get in. You had people, the wicked, trying to come and get in. Hey, hey. At first, the rain was like, all right, this is a little pesky, but then it started coming down a little bit harder. It's like, hold up, all right, now hold up, now let me in. This is starting to get a little more than I can handle. My house just got swept away. Hey, come on now, Noah, let me in. Read.
Verse 17. And the sons of men assembled together, about 700,000 men and women, and they all came unto Noah to the ark.
These were the people that lived on the earth at this time. 700,000 people trying to get on this ark. Hey, come on. Read.
And they said, verse 18. And they called to Noah, saying, open for us, that we may come to thee in the ark, and wherefore shall we die?
You got he, she's, and she-he's, and men of wickedness, and women of wickedness, and all these jokers coming up. Hey, let me in. All right. It's clearly time, We're going to die if you don't let us in. What did Noah say? Read.
Verse 19. And Noah, with a loud voice, answered them from the ark, saying, have you not all rebelled against the Lord and said that he does not exist?
God don't exist. You better stop tripping, Noah, and come and have some fun. Ain't nobody looking. Ain't no God. Nihilist. Atheist. Straight up wicked evildoers. Say, oh man, what you talking all that mess for? We here to have fun. We here for a good time, not a long time, Noah. Come on, ain't no God.
Wow.
He said, have you not? You were doing all this. You rebelled against God. You said that God didn't exist. Read.
And therefore the Lord brought upon you this evil to destroy and cut you off from the face of the earth.
He's coming to wipe away all this wickedness. He's getting rid of all of y'all. It's not my place to let you in. Read.
Is not this thing I spake to you of 120 years back? And you would not hearken to the voice of the Lord, and now you desire to live upon the earth?
I told you. James, John, Melissa, I told all of y'all. I told y'all 120 years ago that this was coming. I gave you warning, as the Most High said. I spake unto the wind. I went out there yelling on the streets, telling you that judgment was coming, and none of you wanted to hear it.
Right.
In fact, some of y'all attacked me for it.
Just like today.
Just like today. And now you want to live upon the earth. You're like, listen, you could have lived upon the earth before. You had the option. Turn from your wicked ways. But no, now you want to live upon the earth. You had 120 years to fix this. Read.
Verse 21. And they said to Noah, we are ready to return to the Lord.
We done. I ain't gonna do it no more. I'm done. I done did all my wickedness. I'm done. I swear. Dude done already turned into a woman. This brother walking around here in some high heels and a mini skirt, talking about something. I ain't gonna do it no more. Right? This talking about some. We are ready now to return to the Lord. Go on, open the door. I'm ready now.
It's just so like, even not even just that, just the fact, because we've been telling people stuff for years too. And so people probably like, okay, so years have gone by, things seem to get a little better. We went through a rough patch of things looking up. So what are y'all talking about? And then like for people who do believe in this, like this story can be like uplifting to you to remember, like you might have told somebody something years ago, but like you still got to remember and it shows like your level of faith in what you say that you believe too. Because like Elder Ricard been talking about this for years, and he's been prophesying it, and some things still haven't come to fruition yet, but it's starting to. So imagine if he had gave up a couple years ago because it wasn't happening as fast as he thought it would. So because that's 120 years is a long time. So like you have to have that much faith for that long to believe that the rain was gonna come. And it was super, super dry. So like that says a lot. So I feel like for anybody who's believing, like you can't let people look at you and be like, well, what happened? Where you're going now? What you talking about? When he coming? He ain't coming. And so you be kind of doubting it too. So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Right. You also have to remember, this flood didn't happen in just 2 seconds. It had been raining. When the rain started, Moses got on the ark, but it rained a little while longer. The water didn't just spring up to thousands of feet like that. It took time. So these people have been sitting there during the rain. Right?
That's right.
Over time, seeing this rain.
Like, bro, he really thinks this little rain can do something.
Exactly. They're sitting there looking like it's just a drizzle. And Moses like, and Noah's like, okay. It ain't nothing but drizzling. Then I want to start to hit you in the head a little bit hard. You're like, ain't nothing. It's gonna clear up. Then I want to start beating you in the head and neck. Now you're like, hey. Read.
I'm gonna go back to the start at
verse 21.
And they said to Noah, we are ready to return to the Lord. Only open for us that we may live and not die.
Listen, just open it. We're gonna return. Just open the door first. We'll get baptized and everything. Just open the door. Read.
And Noah answered them, saying, behold, now that you see the trouble of your souls, you wish to return to the Lord. Why did you not return during these 120 years, which the Lord granted you as a determined period?
He said, the Most High gave you 120 years. If you really wanted to do this, why didn't you do it during? You could have done it in the 119th year. If you had returned in the 119th year, then good. But you wait until the 120 years are up to come up here talking about something you ready to return into the Lord? For real? He said, no, it's because you realize that what I've been talking about for all these years is true. You scared to die. You fear death more than me.
That's right.
Noah was in danger of death telling these people this stuff to turn from their wickedness. He put his life in danger doing that. He feared death less than them. Read.
Verse 23. But now you come and tell me this on account of the troubles of your souls. Now also the Lord will not listen to you, neither will he give ear to you on this day, so that you will not now succeed in your wishes.
You're done. You're finished. It's over.
That's it.
It's over.
That's it.
You've already done it. There's no going back now. You already got the vaccine. You already got the mark of the beast. You done got the RFID chip or whatever in your hands. It's over now. It's already did it.
That's right.
See, many believe that the flood just came and wiped everybody out immediately. It started off with a little rain. And none of the wicked thought anything of it. But the winds got stronger. The rain became heavier. The water started rising higher until the wicked couldn't stand it no more. They're like, all right, nah, something wrong. This ain't normal rain. When the righteous saw the rain, they knew it was time. They went and got on the ark. They were prepared. The ark was already there, first of all. The righteous didn't say, well, we got 120 years to build the ark. Right. We got time to build the ark. No, they went and they got to work. And when it was done, they were ready. They weren't trying to fix up. Oh, wait, hold up, it's time, but I got to put this last put. Still got some work to do on it, though. No, they were ready. Right? See, the wicked, they were in darkness, right? And they were ignorant because they closed their ears to the truth that came from Noah. They said, no, Noah, we're not trying to hear that. We're not trying to hear none of that, Noah. It was too late. When the rain started coming, it was too late. Noah warned them of the Most High's wrath for 120 years. Imagine speaking to the same people nonstop for 120 years and nobody listening. They said God don't exist. But when the day of destruction came, they all wished to find salvation and found nothing. See, I've been finding a lot in this time that I've been talking about this truth for how many, like 6 years now? And now all of a sudden, people want to come and start talking to me. What do you think about the presidential elections? What do you think about this? What do you think about that? What do you think about coronavirus? You ain't want to hear from me before. Why you want to hear from me now? I'm saying the same thing that I've been saying for the last 6 years. Why you want to hear from me now? What's different now as opposed to back then? Well, you know, it's going down now, man. You said something about that war with Iran about 5 years ago. It's happened. Israel struck Iran. What you think about that? Well, I told you about that. I told you that was going to happen 5 years ago. What's different now? Oh, that it actually happened? This is how it will be in the final days according to Christ. We'll be going about, people will go about their lives, business as usual, ignoring all the warning signs, denying the Most High in Christ. See, even some people denying the Most High in Christ and not even realizing it. Oh, well, I don't keep the law. I'm not under the law. I'm under grace. Denying the Most High in Christ. But they will see. They see now that the truth was real and it's too late. You're already in too deep by the time it's time for you to get yourself together. It's already too late. You're not prepared. Now you want to come talk when it's already time for us to go. Hey, I got my ticket. Nah, let's go and let me on. Let me roll with you. That's like trying to sign to a football team once they're already in the Super Bowl. Nah, you ain't want to go through the grind of the offseason. You ain't want to go through the grind of the regular season. You didn't want to go through the stress and the pain and the determination that it takes to get through the playoffs. No, I just want to get there once you're in the Super Bowl. I just want to get a ring. Just put me on your practice squad so I can get a ring. Nah. We don't do participation grades here. You got to be in the weight room from the beginning. When we start off with stretches in the off season, you got to be there for that, right? At least help us get through the second half of the season. At least contribute in the playoffs. But you ain't gonna jump in when this thing is already over. When we're this close to success, nah, that's not allowed. That's a no-go. Let's get Romans 13 and 11.
Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time.
Knowing the time. Paul says it again. Paul says it again, just like he said in Thessalonians. No, he said, you have no need that I explain to you the times. Same thing he says here, we know the time. Knowing the time, read.
Knowing the time, that now is high time to wake out of sleep.
It's time to wake up. We can't keep pretending like everything's gonna go back to normal. It's high time to wake out of sleep. Can't keep pretending that what we see doesn't exist.
That's right.
Can't keep pretending that we have more time. Saying, nothing's happening. It's high time to wake out of sleep. See, and that's the crazy part, is that these people, they were aware of what was going on at the end. They had woken up. But by the time that they woke up, guess what? It was too late. By the time they had come to their assistance and woke up, it was too late. It's high time that you will wake out of sleep. Read.
For now is our salvation nearer than we had believed.
We thought it was further out. We thought we had time. No, it's closer than you believe. You thought you had 30 years. You thought you had another generation of children. You thought you had time. No, our salvation is nearer than we believed. For those of us who are in this truth and see this world for what it is, this is a joyous moment. Salvation, yes. See, the wicked, they don't see that word salvation there. They see death. They get scared. That's how you know the righteous from the wicked. The righteous see salvation and say, yes, it's going to be over. I prepared myself for this moment. The wicked say, oh man, it's coming. You get the sense of doom in your stomach. Read.
Verse 12. The night is far spent. The day is at hand.
Oh man, the sun is rising. All the evil that you got to do in the dark, all the wickedness, all the killing, all the stealing, everything's gonna, the sun's gonna come up and everything's gonna show. The night is far spent. Read.
Let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light.
And let us put on the armor of light. Read.
But put, whoops, I'm just gonna go back to like verse 14. But put ye on the Lord Yeshua Christ, and make not provision for the flesh, to fulfill the lust thereof.
This goes into what we talked about last week, right? Living in an unconscious state of sin. It's time for our people to wake out of that, right? To not make provision for the flesh. What is this talking about? The hour of temptation that we spoke about last week, right? The time that everything that your heart desired, everything that you've wanted, is finally available to you. It's ready made. Everything you ever wanted is right there in front of you. He says, make not provision for the flesh. House is comfortable. Car, comfortable. Said, make not provision for the flesh. Assess your assets and your liabilities.
Right.
Look at what can go. Get rid of everything that can go. And make not provision for the flesh. Right? To understand what time we're in according to scripture and prophecy, we must first know how time itself was counted by Israel. Starting first with the creation of time. Right? What we're going to do is we're going to show you how to break down what time we're in. Let's get Genesis chapter 1, verse 1.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And God said, let there be light. And there was light. And God saw the light that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day.
All right, so he says, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. So now he's divided. He's set time. Right? He called the light day and the darkness night, and the evening and the morning was the first day. Now, many people don't know why it is that Israel reckons their days from sunset to sunset, because the day began with darkness.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? The darkness was first, and then he created the light, which was Christ. Right? So the darkness came first. That's why it was the evening, then the morning. Right? How do we know this? If you go to your Zondervan Bible Dictionary and you look at the word hour, you go and get the word hour in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. When you get the word hour in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary, may be a point in time or a period. Israelites reckon days from sunset to sunset.
That's right.
Israelites reckoned days from sunset to sunset. Romans reckoned hours from midnight to noon, as we do. The Romans changed time.
That's right.
A new day begins at sunset. That's why when we look at some of the feast days, it says from evening unto evening shall you keep your Sabbath. I broke down the day spring doctrine in a past lesson that I did. Go and check that one out. Because what it shows you is specifically with Paul, he went to sleep and then he woke up the next morning, but it was still the same day. Because the nighttime was the beginning of that new day. Right? Israel reckoned their days from sunset to sunset. Right?
Good.
So we see here that Genesis marks the beginning of time, right? On the first day, the Aleph Hayim, which is the Most High, the Holy Spirit in Christ, right? They divided the light from the darkness. These are the two major units of time that will prove extremely important in calculating days, months, years, etc. All of these come from the division of light and darkness. Right? You don't know a year, you can't know a day, you can't know a month, you can't know a year, you can't know a week, right? Without knowing the division of light and darkness. When a day begins and ends. And it begins with sunset, and it ends with sunset. Right? We throughout the scriptures see that Israel's concept of time was based around events such as Sabbaths and feast days. And recurring natural cycles, such as sunset to sunset. Right? That's how we reckoned our days. It says, such as, when you look at Leviticus chapter 23 in particular, it tells you the first day of the year, right? 14 days from the first day of the year is the Passover. Then you count 7 Sabbaths and another couple of days, and you have the Feast of Weeks. We reckoned it by events. Those events mainly being the Sabbath. We operated in orders of 7. Right? 7 is the most important number to an Israelite. It's the most important number in the Bible because it's the order of time. Right? So Israelites reckon their time by events, sunset, Sabbaths, and feast days, and natural cycles such as sunset to sunset. In order to further understand time, we have to understand what the Sabbath is. If you don't understand what the Sabbath is, you'll never learn time according to the Most High. And the best way to understand is by looking at the first Sabbath. Where was the first Sabbath? Let's get Genesis chapter 2, verse 2.
Genesis chapter 2, verse 2. And on the 7th day, God ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the 7th day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which God had created and made.
So it says the Most High ended his work on the 7th day, right? On the 7th day of his week, and sanctified it in the heavens and the earth, right? As a day of rest. So the Most High himself established the 7th day as the Sabbath. So Christians, Catholics, what are you doing? This was to be observed from generation to generation forever. The Most High rests on the Sabbath day. Why aren't you?
Well, because Christ nailed that to the cross, didn't he?
He nailed everything to the cross according to them. Because fact of the matter is that your lifestyle is no different from the wicked. How can you be a light when your light is darkness?
Wow.
You can't be an example to somebody when you're living exactly like them. You are an example. You're a peer.
Wow.
A lot of people in wickedness say, hey, if I wanted to deal with this, it'd be out on the street somewhere. I want to get stabbed in the back. If I wanted to get cheated on, if I wanted some other brother sleeping with my wife, I can get that out in the streets. This right here for the streets. The Why is this important? Why is the Sabbath so important? The Most High establishing the Sabbath, right? Mm-hmm. It's important because the cycle of 7 is embedded in the Shabbat or Sabbath. Mm-hmm. It's embedded into it, mm-hmm. right? The Sabbath is the foundation and the origin of our weekly cycle, resulting in months, years, and jubilees, right? Sabbath is the foundation of all time. Mm-hmm. If you change the Sabbath, you change everything. Which is why they did what? Why did the Catholic Church attack the Sabbath? Because they needed to change times and laws. Mm-hmm. If you want to throw off the Israelites, take away the Sabbath. That's the foundation for everything. Mm-hmm. Right?
Sure.
Let's get Exodus chapter 20, verse 8.
Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But on the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord, thy God. Mm-hmm. In it thou shalt thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy neighbor, thy maidservant, nor the manservant or maidservant, mm-hmm. nor thy cattle, nor the stranger within thy gates. Mm-hmm. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and the earth, mm-hmm. the sea and all that's in them is, mm-hmm. and rested the 7th day.
And rested the 7th day. Read.
Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath and hallowed it.
The Lord did it. Who blessed? Now keep in mind that Lord there is the Elohim. That includes Christ. Mm-hmm. So who in the world hallowed the first day of the week?
Roman Catholic Church.
You're going to have to tell me who did that.
Come on.
It says he blessed the Sabbath day. Mm-hmm. He worked 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See, the Most High established the 10 Commandments under Moses that we were to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Why is this so important? Because Moses, it was revealed to Moses how important the Sabbath was to our time. Mm-hmm. Moses knew. Listen, this is the most important thing right here. Mm-hmm. Y'all lose touch with the Sabbath, you lose touch with God.
That's right.
Because God ain't dealing with you on no other day. You up here talking about the Sabbath is on Monday. You ain't getting no revelation. Sabbath on Sunday. You ain't getting no revelation. Mm. We in this truth find that the majority of our revelation, according to the scriptures, comes on the Sabbath.
Some say Sabbath is every day.
You know what it. Read verse 11 one more time, Elder.
Verse 11. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth.
He made the heaven and earth on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. He worked those days. Mm-hmm. So don't tell that. Last time I checked, they say that you weren't supposed to work on the Sabbath. Mm-hmm. He worked Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Read.
Continue. Verse 11. For 6 days, for in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and earth, mm-hmm. the sea and all that's in them is, mm-hmm. and rested the 7th day.
He did what on the 7th day?
Rested the 7th day.
Read.
Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it.
Then was that any of those days that he worked that he hallowed?
7th day.
He made the 7th day holy. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Just because you want to, all right, what's in your hands to make something holy? Who gave you the authority to hallow another day? Mm-hmm. Moses knew that this day was a special day and was to be the foundation of time. Heathen all over the world have their own way that they keep time outside of the way the Most High created it. Mm-hmm. Everybody, all these people, You got the year of the dog with the Chinese and the year of the cricket. In India, they don't know what year it is. In India, they are, I mean, you go to a different city in India and they think that it's a different year. You go to India, it's like, yeah, it's 2583. And then you go to another city and they're like, no, it's 2231.
The year of the rat.
You got the year of the rat and the year of the toad and all that kind of stuff going on. And I want to know how they figure out what year is going to be for which animal. The year of the chicken. Right? Everybody has their own way of reckoning time. But it was most important for Israel to remain in touch with the Most High through Sabbaths and feast days as to not lose our connection with him, with our God. They keep connection with their God, how they do it. No, we were meant to keep our connection with our God through the Sabbath. And if you keep the Sabbaths, the holy days fall out inside of them. All the holy days fall on a Sabbath outside of the Day of Atonement. Moses was not just shown the Ten Commandments, brothers and sisters. While he was on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights. He ain't just getting no 10 Commandments in 40 days and 40 nights. He learned a lot more than that up there.
That's right.
What did he learn? Let's go to Esdras. For those who do not know what Esdras is in the Apocrypha, but he's also known in the 66 books as Ezra. Let's get 2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 1.
2nd Esdras chapter 14, verse 1. And it came to pass the third day, I sat under an oak, and behold, there came a voice out of the bush over against me. So
Ezra was sitting, you just sitting, chilling. Like, yeah, good day, right? He said, I sat under an oak, and behold, the voice came out of a bush to me. Sound familiar, doesn't it?
Yep.
Moses, right?
Yep.
Read.
And said, Esdras. And I said, Here am I. Here am I, Lord. And I stood up upon my feet. Then he said unto me, In the bush I did manifestly reveal myself unto Moses, and talk with him, where my people served in Egypt.
The burning bush. So now he's going back. He's like, listen, I want to show you something. I want to show you something. I took Moses up on the mount before I had him to lead our people out of Egypt. Read.
Verse 4. And I sent him and led my people out of Egypt, and brought him up to the mount where I held him by me a long season.
I held him by me a long season. Those 40 days and 40 nights. So he was up there on this mountain for 40 days and 40 nights. What did he learn? Read.
And I told him many wondrous things, and showed him the secrets of the times.
Showed him what?
The secrets of the times.
Read.
And the end.
And the what?
The end.
Read.
And commanded him, saying, These words shalt thou declare, and these shalt thou hide.
Moses was taught the secrets of the times. And in learning the secrets of the times, he also learned of the consummation of times. Now he says, some things shalt thou declare, and some things shalt thou hide. See, the problem is when we look at Moses' records, look at the book of Jasher, you look at the 5 books of the Torah, they mention nothing of the secrets of the times. Now, when you examine the secrets of the times, what you find is that he wrote another book called the Jubilees. Now, the elder and I did a lesson on that as well, proving the book of Jubilees. Now, if you want to learn about that book, how it is that we prove the book of Jubilees, you can go and look at that video once we're finished here. But what the book of Jubilees is also not a name, right? People don't know what Jubilee is. A lot of people use the word Jubilee and don't even know what it means. Jubilee means times, right? So a book of the times. That's how we know what this book is, because Moses was revealed what? the secret of the Jubilees, the secret of the times. So this book that he scribed was called the Book of Jubilees, or the Book of the Times. This book contains the history of Genesis broken down into Jubilees, right? It's broken down into 50-year increments. So it's the same Book of Jubilees, right? Broken down into years of 50. This book is a huge part in breaking down the secrets of the times. It's an extremely important part, right? So going forward, we're going to be looking at two books, right? Because we know that Moses revealed the secret of the times, and Esdras was now revealed the secrets of the times, but there was someone else who was revealed the secrets of the times. His name was Enoch.
Yes.
Right? Enoch was given the secrets of the times and wrote it in his testament, confirmed by both Jude and Paul. When you go to Hebrews chapter 11, verse 5, and Jude chapter 1, verse 15, Jude quotes Enoch perfectly. And Hebrews tells us of Enoch's testament. Right? How could Enoch have written a testament that doesn't exist? Clearly, Paul was reading that testament. Christ quoted something that came directly out of Enoch. Right? So Enoch was given the secrets of the times. So we're going to examine Enoch, what Enoch was revealed when he was on the mount, and we're going to examine what Moses was revealed when he was on the mount. And we're going to compare them and see what the Most High is telling us about this time and the consummation of times. Because if we know how the secrets of the times work, we will also know what the consummation of the times are. Let's get Enoch chapter 72, verse 1.
Enoch chapter 72, verse 1. The book of the courses of the luminaries of the heaven.
The book of the courses of the luminaries of the heavens. Read.
The relations of each.
And the relations of each. Now, when it's talking about the luminaries of heaven, no, he's talking about the sun, the moon, and the stars. Right? So he said, this is the book of the order of these luminaries. Read.
According to their classes, their dominion, and their seasons.
Read.
According to their names and places of origin, and according to their months, which Uriel, the holy angel, who was with me, who is their guide, showed me.
He was shown the courses. Read.
And he showed me all their laws exactly as they are.
Now, people believe that the sun just does what it does. The sun operates according to a law. It operates according to a law. So the Most High wrote what your task is supposed to be. And he said, hey, this is what you keep. This is the task. This is the order that you keep. That goes for the sun, the moon, and all the stars, specific to all of their courses. Read.
And how it is with regard to all the years, how it is with regard to all the years of the world and unto eternity, till the new creation is accomplished, which dureth till eternity.
Which dureth till eternity. He was shown every cycle until the end. Until the moon no longer has to work, until the sun no longer has to work, until the stars no longer have to work. He was shown up until that point. So he knows everything concerning the times and the tasks of the luminaries. Right? What is he talking about? Right? How does it connect to the times? Let's get verse 2.
Enoch 72 and 2. And this is the law of the luminaries. The luminary, the sun, has a rising in the eastern portals of the heaven.
So we know that the sun rises in the east. Read.
And its setting is the western portals of the heaven.
So the sun moves in and out of portals. Right? See, the modern day science says, well, the earth and the planets revolve around the sun. First of all, ain't no planets. The Bible doesn't talk about any planets. Enoch doesn't talk about any planets. Moses doesn't talk about any planets, and Esdras doesn't talk about any planets. What he's telling us is the luminaries move around the earth in and out of portals. Right? Read.
Verse 3. And I saw 6 portals in which the sun rises, and 6 portals in which the sun sets.
So you have 12 portals altogether. You have 6 portals on one side and 6 portals on the other. Now, what are these portals for? They determine time changes throughout the year. Depending on the combinations that the sun hits when it's going in and out of these portals determines the time. This is why sometimes days get longer or days get shorter, nights get longer and nights get shorter. It is determined based off of the portal that the sun goes in and out of. Read.
And the moon rises and sets in these portals.
It rises and sets in these portals. Read.
And the leaders of the stars and those whom they lead. 6 in the east and 6 in the west. And all following each other accurately in accurately corresponding order.
In accurately corresponding order. They follow each other perfectly in and out of these portals. Right? Read.
Also, many windows to the right and left of these portals.
There are many windows to the right and the left of these portals. Right? What are these windows? You have to understand when in each month. Now, people talk about zodiacs, right? There's an angel that's over each door or each portal. When you're born in a particular month, you fall through that portal. See, now what they don't tell you when you look at this kind of stuff, because the scriptures say that we aren't to deal with zodiacs. But if you look at the way that the month they have the zodiac set up, it's set up exactly according to the new year. You can be born in October, but if you're born too early in October, you're actually in the month of November. Notice that? It's because they know that the Gregorian calendar's months are not corresponding to the actual months of the Bible.
Wow.
You see that? When you come through a particular portal, the angel that governs that portal, right? The angel that governs that portal, you receive the attributes. And they use these things in the heavens to manipulate people, to figure out how to speak to people before actually dealing with them personally. To do that, if you want to know something about somebody, you go up and you ask them, you learn. We don't manipulate people. Oh, I already know what he like. I already know what she like. Yeah, I know what type of person she is. I know what kind of person he is. These are the windows and the portals. Right? The sun enters and exits 6 portals in the east, 6 portals in the west, right?
Right.
See, when we and notice this would make sense, right? Because when I made it clear, right? The moon, the sun and the moon goes around the earth, not the earth around the sun and the moon. This makes sense because the sun and the moon weren't created until the 4th day. The earth was pretty much almost finished by the time the sun and the moon were created. See, people make it seem like people are surprised when I say, well, the plants don't exactly need the sun to grow. The vegetation was created on the 3rd day. The plants and the herbs that the Most High gave for meat, those were created before the sun and the moon. Think about that. Think about it. All the plants and everything that, the sun, they need this and they need that. It's by the power of the Most High that plants live. Are living creatures. Right?
Okay.
The moon, the sun and the moon were created solely for the earth. They were created for times and seasons. The sun was supposed to show us when the day starts, when the day ends. Right? Let's get Enoch. Let's get verse 4.
Enoch 72, verse 4. And first there goes forth the great luminary, named the sun.
The great luminary named the sun, the brightest orb. The brightest orb in the heavens. Read.
And his circumference is like the circumference of the heaven. And he is quite filled with illuminating and heating fire.
He's filled with illuminating and heating fire. He gives warmth. Right? Read.
Verse 5. The chariot on which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the earth, through the north, in order to reach the east.
So notice the scriptures refer to the sun as he. Because the sun is led by a masculine angel. Right? And notice it also says the chariot on which he ascends. When you look at first, I don't know if many of us in here have actually seen the movie Hercules, the cartoon version of Hercules. And when you look at the sun in the beginning of the movie, you see what looks like a god with a hook, and he comes through the sky on a chariot and pulls the sun out of the sky. Think of it that way. The sun rides a chariot, and the winds pulls him from east to west. Right? Go ahead and read verse 5 again.
Verse 5. The chariot which he ascends, the wind drives, and the sun goes down from the heaven and returns through the north in order to reach the east, and is so guided that he comes through the appropriate portal and shines in the face of the heaven.
So he comes through the appropriate portal so that he comes through at the perfect times. Right? Because you have to remember that it takes time to get from one place to another. So it says that he's guided through the appropriate portal. He goes through the north, right? He returns through the north. He goes up and he comes back through so that he makes it through at the perfect time. Right? Let's get verse 6.
Enoch 72 and 6. In this way, he rises in the first month in the great portal, which is the fourth. Verse 7.
So in the first month of the year, he rises in the fourth portal, right? He rises in the east portal, in the fourth portal in the east. Read.
And in that fourth portal, from which the sun rises in the first month, are 12 window openings. So he goes through each window in certain times of the month. This is so you have the subtle changes of time going into the next month. So that way, when you get into the next month, it's not a subtle just click, turn off, new cycle. So through each window, he goes to make sure that there's a gradual change in the time, right? The time from sunset to sunset, the length of the day and the length of the night. There's subtle changes throughout the month because he enters in through different windows inside the same portal. Read. From which proceed a flame when they are opened in their season.
When they are opened in their season, right? So he knows which one to go into because a flame comes out of it, right? That flame in the first month we know to be the vernal equinox, right? Read.
That's it for that one.
Verse 8.
Verse 8. When the sun rises in the heaven, he comes through that fourth portal 30 mornings in succession, and sets accurately in the fourth portal in the west of the heaven. Verse 9. And during this period, the day becomes daily longer and the night nightly shorter to the 13th morning.
Okay, so the sun enters and exits through the fourth portal in the east and the west. So he enters the fourth portal and he enters and exits through the fourth portals, right? On either side, right? Resulting in the day being longer than the night. What Enoch is now giving us is an exact calculation of how we can use to measure, right? So he's about to give us an exact calculation of how to measure where we are in a specific amount of time, right? Let's get verse 10.
Verse 10. On that day, the day is longer than the night by a ninth part, and the day amounts to exactly 10 parts, and the night to 8 parts.
And the night to 8 parts, right? Read.
Verse 11. And the sun rises from that fourth portal and sets in the fourth and returns to the fifth portal of the east 30 mornings and rises from it and sets in the fifth portal.
Okay, so when we look at what he was talking about here, right, in verse 9, it says that this period, the day becomes daily longer and the night nightly shorter, right? So what this is saying is that the days are longer than the nights in the first month, right? So when we look at it, we go into verse 10 and it says, and on that day, the day, because keep in mind, it says the ninth part. We're looking at parts here. Understand that time, as far as a day, was reckoned differently than it is now. It says the day amounts to exactly 10 parts and the night to 8 parts. That's only, and those parts, that word actually translates in the Hebrew to hours. If you look in the Hebrew, that word parts is hours. Now, many are looking at this and says, wait, 10 parts day, 8 parts night? That's only 18 hours. Yep. There were only 18 hours in a day. There were 18 80-minute hours. So during the first month of the year, there will be 10 hours of sunlight and 8 hours of darkness, right? So if we calculate this using the 24-hour calendar that we live on here in America, it's in 24 60-minute hours, right? The ratio you get is 13 to 11. This aligns perfectly with March, which is the beginning of a new year according to the scriptures. 13 parts day, 11 parts night. Right? It aligns perfectly. Now, actually, go ahead and read verse 12.
Enoch 72 and 12. And then the day becomes longer by 2 parts and amounts to 11 parts.
Now, when it says it becomes longer by 2 parts, it's speaking of 2 hours from the original 9, right? A day, when day is equal to night, is 9 parts, right? So it's saying from that 9 parts, there's 2 more added. So 9 plus 2 is 11. Read.
And the night becomes shorter and amounts to 7 parts. Verse 13.
So from the first month, it's 10 parts. But then it adds 1 more part and increases to 11. Now what happens to the night? The night now goes, when the day goes up 1, the night goes down 1. So now it's 11 to 7. Read.
Verse 13. And it returns to the east and enters into the 6th portal and rises and sets in the 6th portal. 1 and 30 mornings on account of its sign.
1 and 30 mornings. That's 31 days, right? So we see in another part, it decreases to 11 parts. When you calculate this into our calendar, the 24 60-minute hours, right? You get 14 to 10 ratio. So 14 hours day and 10 hours night, including the crossover time. So you have to remember, they usually exclude the twilights, right? The crossing from the day to night and from the night to day. When you include those, you have 14 hours day and 10 hours night, right? The sun enters and exits through the 6th portal in the east and the west during this particular time, right? Let's drop down to verse 31.
Enoch 72, verse 31. And on that day, the sun rises from that portal and sets in the west and returns to the east and rises in the 3rd portal for 1 and 30 mornings. 31
days. There's 31 days in the last month of each season. Read.
And sets in the west side of the heaven. And on that day, the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the night is equal to the day, and the year is exactly as to its 364. Look at that.
Look at that. It says that at the end of the year, at the very end of the year, in the last month of the year, it's equal parts day, equal parts night. That's why the vernal equinox is called equinox. It means equal. Right? So it's the time when the day is equal to the night. Right? The shortness of the day. So it says, go ahead and read. Go read.
Go back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Verse 32.
Verse 32. Go back up a little bit. Verse 32. On that day, the night decreases and amounts to 9 parts, and the day to 9 parts. And the night is equal to the day. And the year is exactly as to its days, 364.
Read that again. 360 what?
364.
See, many would be like, oh, 364. No, there's 365 days in a year.
364.
364. See, if we had read from the beginning of the portals all the way down to this point, you would see that there was 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, 30, 30, 31, and then lastly 30, 30, 31, which comes out to 364 days.
Right.
We're going to find out why that's not the case when we look at the Gregorian calendar. Right? The final month of the year, which we know to be February, the sun and the moon are at the same size, right? When the sun and moon are now notice it says here, actually, go ahead and read. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Verse 33, and the length of the day and of the night, and the shortness of the day and of the night arise. Through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made. So it comes that its course becomes daily longer and its course nightly shorter. Now,
notice it says here, through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made. Notice it doesn't mention the moon here. It says through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made. It says the length of the day and the length of the night and the shortness of the day of the night arise. Through the course of the sun, these distinctions are made, right? So it comes that its course becomes daily longer and its course nightly shorter. Right? So from the end of the year going into the new year, we see that it starts all over again. It goes from equal parts day and night to 10 parts day, 8 parts night. Starts all over again. There's only 364 days in God's year. On God's clock, there's only 364 days. Right? Now, Enoch also tells us that the sun and the moon are the same size. Many people wouldn't believe this. But when you look at the distance in which because the moon follows the sun, so it looks smaller. But in actuality, the sun and the moon are the same size. Right? We're going to see this. In this month, the sun rises in the second portal and sets in the third portal for 31 days. At the end of every season, there's an intercalary day. That means that it's a day for season change. Right? So there's 31 days in the last month of the season so that it can go from winter to spring, from spring to summer, from summer to fall, and from fall back to winter again. There's one day to make sure that there's in between, right? But during this particular month, right? During this particular month, we see that the day and the night are equal. 9 parts day, 9 parts night, right? Or in the 24-hour calendar, it's 12 hours day, 12 hours night. After the month is complete, the cycle begins again, right? It goes from 9 parts day, 9 parts night to 10 parts to 8 parts, right? It goes back to the cycle of the first month. The most important part of Israel's calendar, excluding the Sabbath, is the length of a year. In our modern day Gregorian calendar, we're given 365 days. 5 days causes our events to fall out on different days of the week each year. For example, someone's birthday may be they may have been born on a Saturday, but throughout their lifetime, their birthday may be on a Wednesday, or it may be on a Tuesday, or it may be on a Saturday again. That's not how the Most High set the year. Our days are supposed to fall on the same day every year. That's why Leviticus chapter 23 tells us that all of our Sabbath days would fall on a Sabbath. They would all fall on the 7th day of the week because there was no extra day. The year divided into itself evenly. When you add that extra day, it throws all the days out of order. And it also causes some days or some months to be longer than others. Why the heck are there 29 days in February? Right? This is confusion. The Most High created the heavens and the earth in order. He said that it was good. Right? The 364-day calendar, according to the Most High, allows for every Sabbath to fall out the same day every year for eternity. Enoch confirms this through a precept that confirms the 364-day calendar. For those who don't understand, right, who don't understand that Enoch belongs in the Bible, we'll use your regular 66 books to prove that the Bible, that there was a 364-day calendar and that our prophets in the Bible used it.
That'd be nice.
Right? Now, there's this article here. Now, some believe that the people are confused by the length of the year because they believe that the vernal equinox happens in March. So a lot of people believe that the vernal equinox happens on March 20th. And because they believe that the equinox happens on March 20th, they think that the new year is in April. We're going to show you today that that's not true. National Geographic. Black people don't read National Geographic. Vernal Equinox in 2012. First day of spring myth busted. It says, are a day and a night equally long today? In 2012, the vernal equinox? Get the answer in other first day spring facts and oddities, right? It says in the northern hemisphere, winter ended at 1:14 a.m. Tuesday, March 20th, 2012, the vernal equinox or spring equinox, making today the first day of spring. But don't be fooled by the old rumor that the spring equinox, that the length of the day is equal to the length of the night. So he said, don't be fooled into thinking that March 20th is the actual spring equinox. It says the true days of day and night equality always fall before the vernal equinox, according to Jeff Chester, a public affairs specialist with the U.S. Navy Observatory in Washington, D.C. He said, don't be fooled into thinking that March 20th is the vernal equinox. It actually happens before that. Exactly when it happens depends on where you are located on the earth, on the face of the earth. By the time the center of the sun passes over the equator, the official definition of equinox, the day will be slightly longer than the night everywhere on earth. The difference is a matter of geometry, atmosphere, and language. But what's interesting here is when you go down and you read about the interesting facts, it says something very interesting. Where is it here? It says Pope shuffles vernal equinox. Who? The Pope shuffles vernal equinox. Another spring equinox oddity, a rule of the calendar keeps it so that the first day of spring is almost always March 20th or 21st, but sometimes on the 19th, McRoberts said. In 1582, Pope Gregory VIII, Pope Gregory XIII, established the Gregorian calendar, which most of the world now observes, to account for the equinox inconvenience. If he hadn't established the new calendar, every 128 years, the spring equinox would have come a fully calendar year day earlier. It says every 128 years, the spring equinox would have come full calendar year earlier, a full calendar day earlier, right? So he's saying that it would have been earlier, right? Eventually putting Easter in chilly midwinter. So he found a problem with his calendar. He said, well, after 120 years, the equinox is going to be in the dead of winter. The spring equinox is going to be in the dead of winter. How does that happen? So he said, it begins with the fact that there is not an exact numbers of days in the year. That's what they say. That's what the Gentile says. Mm-hmm. He says before the Pope's intervention, the Romans and much of the European world marked time with the Julian calendar. Instituted by Julius Caesar, the old calendar calculated exactly 365.25 days. Mm. How do you get 0.25 of a day? Wow. I mean, per year. Averaged over a 4-year cycle. So that 0.25 over 4 years, you will have a 366-day year, right? And each 4 years, a leap day help keep things on track. It turns out, however, that there were 365.24219 days in as an astronomical tropical year. So they said that there's actually, matter of fact, there's 365.2419 days. Wow. Defined as the time it takes the sun as seen from the earth to make a complete circuit in the sky. Now, to fix this problem, the Pope decreed that most century years as 1700, 1800, and 1900 would not be leap years, but century years. Divisible by 400, like 2000, would be leap years. It says under the Gregorian calendar, the year is 365.2425 days long. That gets close enough to the true fraction that the seasons don't drift. So they had to wiggle rig the year so that it didn't jack everything up, because they had already jacked it up so bad. It says with the average duration of 365.2425 days, the Gregorian years are now 27 seconds longer in length than a tropical year. The era which allowed to gain on 1 day of the period of 3,200 years. Right? So basically what they're saying here is that he jerry-rigged the time of the vernal equinox so that it would fall near Easter every year. He fixed the vernal equinox so that it would fall near Easter every year. So you're inadvertently celebrating their gods. Turns out the vernal equinox actually happens prior to March 20th, which is why a lot of people look at the calendar that we keep, which has the year starting March 6th, right? They say, well, that's inaccurate because the vernal equinox is on the 20th, not realizing that the vernal equinox happens prior to. And also the problem with that is that if you calculate all the Sabbaths, right, all the feast days that are in the 7th month fall out in the 7th month, right? You have the Day of Atonement, you have the memorial blowing of trumpets first, then you have the memorial blowing of trumpets first, the Day of Atonement, then the Feast of Tabernacles. All three of those need to fall in the 7th month. If you start the year in April, they all fall in different months. They separate out of the 7th month. Right? September, sept is 7. Sept is 7. They know. They know that September is the actual 7th month of the year and that March is the first month of the year. If you move the first day of the year to early April or late March, the holy days don't fall out all in the 7th month. The Feast of Tabernacles will fall outside of the 7th month. That's how we know that the year begins on the first Sabbath, the first or second Sabbath of March. Right? Now we're going to take a short break and we'll break that down a little bit further in a moment, but we're going to take a short break and come back and pick up. How do we prove the 364-day calendar in the 66 books of the Bible? Right? One moment.
Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. But if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Most High, to observe and do all his commandments, then curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites seek out the ways of the heathen to make a covenant with Satan's government. Turn their face away from the Most High, evil desire. 2 Kings 17 said they passed their sons and daughters through the fire. They begin cutting divine spiritual ties, clinging to the heathen lies. Evil spirits bind, breaking souls, breaking spirits, ripping flesh, breaking minds. Running from the Most High wrath on the blood-stained path. 70 AD, Israelites fall. The Most High's chosen seed go into captivity. Hebrew Israelites watch nations rise. They watch nations fall. Four beasts, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece. We pray for the fall of the fourth beast. Under the iron foot of Rome, we long to go home. A hopeless nation lies dead in the valley of the dry bones. Simulation of Shemites to Hamite clones. Israelites roam.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites enslaved to build a wicked nation. No true identity, only tribulations. Fed scraps of swine, we eat the worst of the animal kind. Used, confused, they set us in high places to be abused. Control the tribe, control the tribe. Our leaders take bribes to continue the lies. Four beasts behind the scene in the skies, watching with the all-seeing eye. The heathen take flight into a new world order. Hebrews sleepwalking into a wicked system that's gonna fall. Awake, awake, reject Babylon. Hear the trumpet of awakening throughout the day and night. Awake, the Most High's people, the Israelites. The earth has swallowed the flood of deception. The harvest ripe for collection. His people are walking, standing like a mighty army. The Most High has summoned, the Hebrews are coming. Awake, come out of captivity. Awake, you who sleep. Arise, receive the Most High's laws and commandments. We are the Israelites.
In my mind, all these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Give me a new mind. Oh, make me whole. I'll rise up.
Quam,
I'll be a new light.
Quam.
I am awakened.
Quam.
I am awakened.
Quam. Yasha.
I am awakened. All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn.
All right, coming back to it, right? So I said before we went on break, right, that how we know that the Sabbath is that the beginning of the year is in March, right? Mm-hmm. The beginning of the year is in the first Sabbath of March, right? The first Saturday in March is the beginning of a new year every year, right? And because the year, right, this year is going to be on the 6th. The first Sabbath of March is on the 6th, right? But because of the 365-day calendar, us plugging our year.
Okay, don't worry about it.
But how we know, right? Because when you plug in a 364-day into the 365-day calendar, there's an extra day there. So for us, it's always going to fall on the Sabbath. But in the 65-day calendar, it's going to be on a different day, right? So this year it's on the 6th. Next year it may be on the 7th or on the 5th, right? But this year it's going to be on March 6th, right? From the 5th sundown to the 6th sundown is the first day of the new year, right? Now, we said that we're going to show you in the regular 66 books for those who don't believe in Enoch, right? We're actually going to prove Enoch and Jubilees by doing this here, right? We're going to show you in the 66 books. We're going to show you in the 66 books how it is that they reckon time. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 4.
Ezekiel chapter 4, verse 4. Lie thou also upon thy left side, and lie the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of days that thou shalt lie upon it. Thou shalt bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days. So shall thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel.
Now, some of you have been following House of Judah for a long period of time, know that we've done a lesson on this. There was a doctrine coming out at the time that we did this lesson. There was a calendar coming out that was talking about a leap week. And we explained that although Ezekiel chapter 4 has nothing to do with how long a year is, it can be used to prove how long a year is. Now, the mistake that the person made when using this is that they skipped from chapter 1 to chapter 4. They skipped over chapters and didn't realize that smack dab in the middle of the chapters that they missed, the week that they claimed was missing was there.
That's right.
Right? So when we look at this, right? When we look at Ezekiel chapter 4, we're going to show you that the 364-day calendar was what Ezekiel was living by. So it says, I have laid upon you the years of iniquity. The number of days, 390 days shalt thou bear the children of Israel, right? So he says 390 days for the 390 years of Israel's iniquity, right? Plus another 40 days for the 40 years of Judah's iniquity. So that would be a total of him laying on either side for 430 days. Right? 430 days total of Ezekiel on either side. Let's get Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1. Let's break this down.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the 13th year, in the 4th month, in the 5th day of the month, I was among the captives by the river Chebar, that the heavens were open, and I saw visions of God.
All right, so this is the first vision. Remember that day. Write this down. The 13th year, right? The 4th month, and the 5th day of that month, right? So 4, 5, right? This is where the Most High appeared to him first, right? So this was actually, when you look at the captivity that they were in, this was the 5th year of that captivity, right? They have been in that captivity for 5 years. So you're looking at the 5th year of captivity, the 4th month, and the 5th day of that month, right? Let's jump to chapter 3, verse 15.
Ezekiel chapter 3, verse 15. Then I came to them of the captivity of Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv, read.
That dwelt by the river Chebar. And I sat where they sat, and remained there astonished among them 7 days.
This was the scripture that they missed when they made the leap week. They just went with Ezekiel chapter 1 as the start date, right? They went with Ezekiel chapter 1 verse 1 as the start date, and they jumped to Ezekiel chapter 4 for the ending day. But they missed Ezekiel chapter 13, which is where the Most High revealed himself to Ezekiel a second time. But how many days had passed? 7. The 7 days that they thought were missing were actually there. Ezekiel detoured for 7 days. So when we look at this, now we're looking at a start date of the 4th month on the 12th day of that month. Right? So we're looking at the same month, right? The 4th month, but 7 days after that 5th day, we're looking at a start date of the 4th month on the 12th day of the 4th month. Right? Let's get Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. They went straight from Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1 to Ezekiel chapter 8. Wait, go ahead and finish verse 16, Slaki.
Oh, verse 16. And it came to pass at the end of 7 days.
At the end of how many days?
7 days.
At the end of how many days?
7 days.
7 days passed. Read.
That the word of the Lord came unto me, saying.
Now, that was the second appearance of the Most High to Ezekiel. So 7 days passed. So move your start date from the 5th to the 12th. Right? Now, let's jump to verse 8, because they went directly from Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 1 to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. It says start date, end date. Skipped over everything in the middle. Read.
Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 6th year, in the 6th month, and the 5th day of the month, I sat in mine house, and the elders of Judah sat before me, that the hand of the Lord God fell there upon me.
So Ezekiel had finished his 430-day fast. He finished his 430 days. And when he finished his 430 days, it was the 6th year of the captivity in the 6th month on the 5th day of that month. Right? So now we have our ending. Our start date was the 5th month on the 12th day. And our end month is the 6th month of the 5th day, a whole year later, over a year later. To calculate the start date, now this is where you have to key in here. To calculate the start date and all the days in between, using the 364-day calendar, we have to know that there are 12 30-day months. Right? The year is divided equally. There aren't 20 days of 29 or days of, no. There are 12 30-day months, right? We're beginning the calculation. So if you have a calculator, have one. If you have notes, use them, right? So it says, knowing the year, there are 12 30-day months, right? And in those 30-day months, there are 4 dividing season days. So there is 1 extra day for the changing of each season, right? See, you want to know what's crazy is that they know this. They say a circle is 360 degrees. They say a circle is 360 degrees, right? And if you divide that circle into 12 by 12, you get what? 30. So think about it. You have a 360, right? A full circle that's 360 degrees, right? And in there, you have a parallel line, not parallel lines, but perpendicular lines, right? Just like this through the circle. And at the top, you have 4 dividing seasons. That 360 is divided into 90 each, right? If you can draw it, draw. You have a circle, 360.
One of those pieces of paper you got.
Yeah, actually, that would be good. Also, a pencil as well. Now, remember, 360 days, right? The water. All right, so you have a circle. That's an okay circle. I think that's pretty good. Right, so you have a circle, right? Right there, a circle. And then you have a 300, that circle is 360 degrees. Right? Get a little bit closer here. No, that light's too bright. Right? So now you see the circle there, 360 degrees, right? Now you have the 360, right? 12 30-day months, right? And you divide it into 4 sections, right? Each section counts for a day. So now you have a full 364 days plus 4. That's 364. Just like that. Right? 364, just like that. Right? Now, when you count the number of months from the 4th to the 6th month, it comes out to 14 total months. Right? Count it. When you count it, it's 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? And you have those extra 4 days, boom, 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 right? That's 14, right? So you multiply the number of months, which is 14, by the number of days in a month, which is 30, right? That's not including the intercalary days. We're excluding the extra 4 days. So if anybody has a calculator, do this on your calculator for me. You have 14 times 30. And what do you get? 14 times 30. 420. Right? You do 14 times 30 and you get 420. Right? Then you add the difference of days that have already passed at the end of the month. Right? So you have to take into account the start days. Remember, one of the start days, it started on the 12th. And it ended on the 5th, right? So you subtract 12 minus 5, right? And you get 7. So now you add that 7 to that 420. What's 7 plus 420? I know the answer. I'm just waiting on the calculator. Yeah, 7 plus 420.
Oh,
427. Right? So that's 427 days, right? Now you add in the last 4 intercalary days. And what do you get? That's 427 plus 4. What do you come out with?
431.
431. He finished the 430 days on the 4th day of the 6th month. Then he sat amongst the elders on the 431st day, the 5th day of the 6th month. 431 days exactly. From the beginning of his laying on his side to the end. That's how we prove that the 364-day calendar is in fact real. You see that? Using no other calendar could we have figured this out. It would have made no sense. It's like he wasn't on the side. If we use the 365-day calendar, he's been out of this for a little minute. And if you go strictly off of the moon, which results in a 354-day calendar, it's like he never finished his cycle. He never finished his 430 days. This shows perfectly that he finished his days on the 4th day, and he sat with the elders the day after he was finished. Right? So I'm going to go over the calculations again. You multiply the number of months, which is 14, by 30. When you do that, you get 420 days. Then you add the difference of days that have already passed from the start to the ending month. So you look at that. You look at the fact that it started at day 12. Right? And it ended on day 5. So you subtract 12 minus 5, which is 7. Right? So now you add that 7 to that 420 and you get 427. Now the 4 season days that you didn't take into account, you add those in. Right? Because remember, at the end of each season, there's an extra day. So that's 4 season days. A year has passed. So that's 4 season days. Now you have exactly 431. He not only finished, but he went and sat with the elders the day after. Actually, thank you. That's perfect. That's perfect.
Thank you, sister. She'll give us a little bit more of this illumination here. Just a little bit. I'll let you know. That's good.
Can I get a paper towel? So now we proved outside of, see, for all of you who are like, oh, you used Enoch to get the 364-day calendar. Well, guess what? I just used not the New Testament, the Old Testament, for those Israelites who don't believe in the New Testament, and for those people who don't believe in the Book of Enoch. But guess what? This right here proves the testament that Enoch gave is true. It proved that it's true. Right? See what the scriptures can do if you use them correctly? The scriptures say rightly divide the word of truth. We can confirm that Enoch gives us the testament using one of the regular 66 books. Just that simple. Right? Let's get Jubilees chapter 6, verse 21, right? Because Moses also gave a testament. Let's see if Moses' testament matched the testament that was given to Enoch.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 1. For it is the feast of weeks and the feast of first fruits. This feast is twofold and of a double nature, according to what is written and engraven concerning it. Celebrate it. For I have written in the book of the first law, in that which I have written for thee, that thou shouldst celebrate it in its season. In one day in the year, I explained to thee its sacrifices, that the children of Israel should remember and should celebrate it throughout their generations, in this month. I'm sorry, Salakia. In this month, one day in every year.
So we see here that from the beginning, the Most High established the Feast of First Fruits. What he's showing Moses here is the Feast of First Fruits, right? So the Most High established a cycle of holy days, beginning with natural cycles he set in place. So if we were to ever get sidetracked, we could find where we are in time by looking at the natural cycles, right? The Feast of Weeks and the 4 intercalary days or season changes are the feasts we are to keep. Right? So when the season changes, the day that the season changes, we feast. On the Feast of Weeks, we feast. Right? Go ahead and read verse 23.
Verse 23. And on the new moon of the first month, and on the new moon of the 4th month, and on the new moon of the 7th month, and on the new moon of the 10th month are the days of remembrance.
Remember that. So we have a full circle here, right? This is our year, right? This right here is our year, the circle. Now, when you look at this circle, it's a complete circle. This right here is going to represent our year, right? Now, he says that the new moon of the first month, right? So year one, that's at the start, right? And he says the new moon of the 4th month, that's 3 months later. The new moon of the 7th month, 3 months later. And the new moon of the 10th month, 3 months later. Right? So we're looking at increments of 3. He just divided the year into how many parts? 4 parts. Now, I want to address something for all those moon Israelites. Because we say not to follow the moon. The scriptures say not to follow the moon. Not we say not to follow the moon. The scriptures say not to follow the moon, but they say that's a contradiction because he just said the new moon of the 7th month. So we are supposed to be judging our times according to the moon. Let's get into the Hebrew. When you go to the Strong's Concordance and you look up the word and you look up new moon, you can go to Psalms chapter 81, verse 3. Psalms chapter 81, verse 3, and you see the word new moon there. When you click on it, it takes you to the concordance number H2320, Kodesh. Kodesh means new moon, a month. Not moon, but month. So the word there is not moon, it's month. Right? Now, let's see what the actual word moon is in Hebrew. When you go to Psalms chapter 8, verse 3, it mentions the moon, as in the luminary. It's H3394. Again, that is H3394. And that is Yarayak. Yarayak. Right? And that word translates as moon, as in the luminary. So the word moon in Hebrew and new moon are totally different. New moon in the Hebrew actually translates to new month. Right? So it's not talking about moons, it's talking about months. I need to get that out of the way because that's a big discrepancy that a lot of people, they say new moon, so we're supposed to look for the full moon to know whether we're in. No. And you're going to find out why the Most High doesn't use the moon. Right? So first we see here that the Most High took the whole year, right? And he divided it into 4 parts in 3-month increments, right? So each season contains 3 months, right? So we look at the seasons. Each season has 3 months in it, right? Go ahead and read.
Let me get back to it. Okay. These are days or minutes. Okay. And the days of the seasons and the 4 divisions of the year. These are written and ordained as a testimony forever.
They're written and ordained as a what?
Testimony forever.
As a testimony forever. The Most High established a cycle of holy days, beginning with the natural cycles he set in place. So the first holy days were the natural cycles. Right? So we're looking at the Feast of First Fruits. We're looking at the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th month. And we're also looking at the beginning of each new month. Those are all holy days. And they're established as a testimony forever. See, what happens is if you forget 7, if you forget the Sabbath, you lose all of these.
That's right.
Everything. You go wrong as to everything. You can't keep any of the holy days anymore. See, the Most High, he made the season changes to make the first divisions of the year. So the year is divided into 4 parts. Let's go to verse 24.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 24. And Noah ordained them for himself as feasts for generations forever.
So Noah made them feasts, right? Why? Read.
So that they have become thereby a memorial unto him.
So he made these particular natural occurrences into a memorial. What was he trying to remember? Read.
And on the new moon of the 1st month, he was bidden to make for himself an ark.
So in the first season, right? In the first season of the year, he was told to make an ark. Read.
And on that day, the earth became dry, and he opened the ark and saw the earth. And on the new moon of the 4th month, the months of the depths of the abyss beneath were closed. And on the new moon of the 7th month, all the months of the abysses of the earth were opened, and the waters began to descend into them.
So it's saying, keep in mind, when it says the new moon, which is new month of the 1st month or of the 7th month, is speaking of the first day. The first day of the new season. It's not saying the new moon of that month. It's saying the first day of that month. Right? What Moses said as memorials is he remembered what happened at the beginning of each season after the flood. So he used these as reminders. He was like, dang, in the 1st month, in the first day of the new month of the 7th month, the abyss were closed. The rain stopped. Right? Read.
And on the new moon of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains were seen. And Noah was glad.
Read.
Verse 28. And on this account, he ordained them for himself as feasts for a memorial forever.
He made them feasts for himself. He was like, I remember what happened at the beginning of these feasts. So on these days, I will remember
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the problem with going by the moon. It's because the moon is full or is half full at different times.
Mm-hmm.
He can't observe what he actually saw consistently on the same day,
right,
if the moon isn't in its cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Because he may have seen the moon on, say, on the new moon of the first month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is actually the first day of the first month, right? But if he went by the moon, this month he may see it on March 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
But next year he may see the new moon on March 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Because the moon acts as she wants to. We're going to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Noah marked the beginning of a new stage in the Most High's cleansing of the earth. Right? He marked the season changes as a new stage in the Most High's cleansing of the earth. Therefore, they were set as memorials unto the generations to remember what the Most High has done.
Mm-hmm.
It was to put our people in remembrance of the first destruction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? See, if we had actually continued to keep these as a memorial,
mm-hmm.
we would know what Christ was talking about when Christ said, as in the days of Noah. Wouldn't we?
That's right.
Because Noah said these as memorials. If we had continued to walk in these, we would know today what Christ was talking about when he said, as in the days of Noah.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't. Why? Because we forgot these memorials.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get verse 29.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 29. And they placed them on the heavenly tablets. Each had 13 weeks.
They put them where?
The heavenly tablets.
Where?
The heavenly tablets.
This is not a book. People think that this book is just something physical. What's in this book, what's in the Bible, is written in the heavens. It's already ordained in the heavens. The law of the luminaries isn't something that's in a book. We see it in the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
God.
It says each had 13 weeks. That's saying each season has 13 weeks. So when you divide the season into 4, each month has 3 months, right? So remember, 3 months per season, right? So that's 3 months per season right here, right? 3 months per season, right? And then it says that there are 13 weeks in each month. 13. Weeks in each month. Very simple, right? 13 weeks, says it right here, right? So, read.
Let me get back to it. Okay. Each had 13 weeks from one to another, their memorial.
So there was 13 weeks between each season. Read.
From the first to the second, from the second to the third, and from the third to the fourth. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. So
he's saying in all, in 1 year, there are 52 weeks. Anyone who has a calculator, pull this up for me. I want you to multiply 13 by 7. Multiply 13 by 7 and tell me what you get. 91. That's 91 days per season. Multiply 91 by 4. 364 exactly. Divide 364 by 7. 52. All the numbers fall inside of each other perfectly.
That's right.
That means that there's no leap days, no leap weeks.
Nope.
All the numbers divided themselves perfectly. 13 weeks per season, 91 days in each season, all divide perfectly into the 52 weeks and 364 days.
That's right.
Right? Knowing, like I said, they tell us what it actually is. When you look at your degrees, right? When you learn, I believe you learn degrees and everything in the fourth grade, 4th and 5th grade. You have a 360 circle, right? And they say, okay, you go this way, boom, 90, 180. Mm-hmm. They teach you all of this. Mm-hmm. They're just not telling you that that's how a year works. Wow. They tell you 360. They've been telling you 360 for a long time now. Mm-hmm. They just didn't tell you that that's how a year works. Mm-hmm. The Most High is simple. Read.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 30. Mm-hmm. And all the days of the commandment will be 52 weeks of days. Mm-hmm. Now all these will make the entire year complete.
That's it. 52 weeks, 52 times 7. I mean 52 divided by 7. 13. No, 52 divided by 7. Wait, no, it's 52. Yeah, I'm right. Mm-hmm. So when you do all the calculations, you can divide them however you want to. Mm-hmm. It goes perfectly. Right? Read.
Thus, it is engraven and ordained on the heavenly tablets.
It is where?
On the heavenly tablets.
No, in the Book of Jubilees.
The heavenly tablets.
No, in Enoch.
The heavenly tablets.
No, in Ezekiel.
The heavenly tablets.
This is in the heavenly tablets. This is the cycle that the Most High, this is the Most High's clock. This is what the Most High's clock looks like, people. Even what they even show you with the clock. Mm-hmm. When you look at a regular clock, like a regular circular clock, mm-hmm. It's literally this. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing as this. They even have it divided. 12, 3, 6, 9, 12, 3, 6, mm-hmm. 9. It's the same. Mm-hmm. That's literally, when you look at a regular clock, you're literally looking at the Most High's year. How the Most High has a year set up. Mm-hmm. They put it right in front of you. Mm-hmm. Read.
Verse 31. And there is no neglecting this commandment for a single year from year to year.
There is no neglecting this commandment from year to year. Right? We can't forget this calendar. Mm-hmm. He says, don't forget what I'm telling you here. This is the secrets of the times. Moses is laying out the format as it is written on the heavenly tablets. He's just copying it.
Right.
The 4 seasons were established. And in each season, there's 13 weeks. And that makes up a full 52-week year. Mm-hmm. This calendar is supposed to be kept in the heavens. And it must not be changed or forgotten. Mm-hmm. Israel did both. Not only did we forget to keep it, but we also changed it. Mm-hmm. Right? Just that quick.
Yep.
Let's get verse 32.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 32. And command thou the children of Israel that they observe the years according to this reckoning. 364 days.
How many?
364 days.
364 days. You can take 364 days, 364 divided by 52. You can take 364 days divided by 91. You can take 364 days divided by 7. All of these equations, it'll all come out to an even number.
Yep.
Just like that. The Most High is simple. Read.
Get back to it. And these will constitute a complete year. And they will not disturb its time from its days and from its feasts.
It says your feast days will be on the same day every year.
That's right.
When you look at the Jewish calendar, they're celebrating their feast days on different weeks every year.
Mm-hmm. Different days of the week and everything.
See, the thing about the calendar that we keep mm-hmm. is that the heavenly calendar, the Most High's clock, mm-hmm. is that it may fall on a different day in this calendar, in the Gregorian calendar, mm-hmm. but it's always falling on a Sabbath.
Right.
It's in order with the Most High. Mm-hmm. Read.
For everything will fall out in them according to their testimony.
Everything will fall out in them according to their testimony, according to the book of Leviticus. Mm-hmm. It should all fall out exactly how Leviticus says. if, like I said, if you start the calendar on March 20th, the holy days that are supposed to fall out all in the 7th month will fall out in different months. Right? So it says everything. Look at all. Do all these math problems if you want. 364 by 52, 364 by 91, 364 by 7. Divide it all if you want to. All of these numbers that I gave you, divide them all. It comes out evenly. Everything falls out according to their testimony. It doesn't change. Read.
And they will not leave out any day nor disturb any feast.
It's not going to change. And the feast days are not going to be flip-flopping around.
Right.
You shouldn't be celebrating a feast day on a Sabbath this year and then on a Thursday next year. That's not how this works. What will happen if we forget? Read.
Verse 33. But if they do neglect and do not observe them according to his commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons and years and will be dislodged from this order.
It says if they neglect, if they do neglect and do not observe them according to the Most High's commandment, then they will disturb all their seasons and years. We don't even know what year we're in right now. What year are we in? Can anybody tell me? We think that we in 2021. How many of y'all know that we're over 300 years off course? 300 years off course. Says you forget to observe them, you don't know your seasons. We're celebrating winter in the wrong times. Fall in the wrong times. Right? It says, and the years will be dislodged from this order. We're in a whole nother year that we're not even in. Read.
And they will disturb the seasons, and the years will be dislodged, and they will neglect their ordinance.
They'll neglect what?
Their ordinance.
So our people aren't keeping the Sabbath. What about Feast of Tabernacles? Y'all keeping it, Christians? Y'all keeping the new months? Are you keeping the season changes? Are you keeping Purim, dedication, Passover, unleavened bread? None of it you're keeping. See how the calendar threw us so out of course with our God? We don't even know the difference between what's right and wrong.
Wow.
Read.
Verse 34. And all the children of Israel will forget and will not find the path of the years and will forget the new moons.
Just like I said, it says that they will forget their path. It said that they'll forget the path of the years. You won't know what year you're in. And it says you'll forget your new months. Read.
And seasons.
And your seasons. Read.
And Sabbaths.
And your Sabbaths. Thinking that the Sabbath is on a Sunday. That the Sabbath is on a Sunday. Read.
And they will go wrong as to all the order of the years.
You will go wrong as all the prophecies and everything that's supposed to roll out in this time. Read.
For I knew from henceforth I will declare it unto thee, and it is not of my own devising.
Read that again.
And it is not of my own devising.
Read that one more time.
It is not of my own devising.
He didn't create this himself. Read.
For the book lies open before me.
He said it's already written. Read.
It lies written before me.
Read.
And on the heavenly tablets, the division of the days is ordained.
He said, listen, I'm just copying what I see in the heavens. What the Most High is showing me, I'm just copying it down. It's almost like if y'all know the plagiarism. you see something else, you're like, hold it. What's that word? What'd that say? All right. That's exactly what it is. He said, this is not of my own devising. I didn't make this up. It's the book lies written before me. Read.
Lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to the feast of the Gentiles.
Whoa! Lest they forget the feast of the covenant and walk according to what?
The feast of the Gentiles.
Jeremiah chapter 10. They take a tree, cut it out of the forest, deck it with silver and with gold. Christmas. You keep Christmas before you keep Passover. Thanksgiving. St. Patrick's Day. Valentine's Day. All of these wicked Gentile holy days you're keeping, as opposed to God's holy days. This was prophesied. He said, you will forget, and guess what? They're going to give you their calendar, and you're going to be keeping their holy days on their calendar. Read.
After their error and after their ignorance.
After their error and after their ignorance. They don't even understand the Most High's calendar. They got their own clock that don't even work. You got to do 365.24561 days. They got Moses gave us a 364-day calendar that Enoch and Ezekiel gives us. Two prophets. Makes it clear. Makes it very clear. Crystal clear. Actually, anybody confused? I mean, the year is easily divided into sevens. Notice how the 7 is the foundation of all of our time. 364 divides by 7. 52 divided by 7. All of these divide into 7. 7 is the foundation. We calculate according to Sabbaths. That's why when you look at the distance between certain feast days and certain feast days, it's always by 7. Count 2 Sabbaths, 14 days. Count 2 Sabbaths from the first day of the year, and you have Passover. Count 7 Sabbaths and another certain amount of days to get to the Feast of Weeks. Right?
Right.
If we forget our Sabbath, we forget everything. Everything goes. The universe was created by the Most High. He created time. Moses didn't invent this calendar. The Most High created time before Moses was even thought of. The children of Israel forgetting our calendar, being out of season with the Most High, puts us under the power of the Gentiles. It puts us in subjection to the Gentiles. They were supposed to be following us because we had the knowledge. Now we're following them. If the blind lead the blind, they both shall fall into a ditch. It says we follow their holy days: Christmas, Easter, Hanukkah, Ramadan, all of this stuff. Hey, you gotta get ready for Diwali. Get ready for St. Patrick's Day. Get drunk, start killing people. Let's get Jubilees chapter 6, verse 36.
Jubilees chapter 6, verse 36. For there will be those who will assuredly make observations of the moon.
He said there's going to be some people out there who are going to make observances of the moon. They're going to follow the moon. How many people observe? The Jewish people observe the lunar calendar. Other Israelites observe the lunar calendar. This system is based off of the lunar calendar. He said I know there's going to be people who try to follow the moon. What does he say about that? Read.
How it disturbs the seasons and comes in from year to year 10 days too soon.
It comes in from year to year 10 days too soon. 10 days too soon. Remember that. I need you to remember that. Everybody here, remember that. They wonder why they're so confused, why they had to rig all of their calendars we got to make it so that it falls out perfectly because it ain't working. You wonder why it ain't working.
Yep.
Read.
Verse 37. For this reason, the years will come upon them when they will disturb the order and make it abominable.
You see that? It says the years will come upon them where they will disturb the order. Read.
And make an abominable day the day of testimony.
And make an abominable day a day of testimony. Halloween. You got pastors in the pulpit on Easter. Make an abominable day a day of testimony. Read.
And an unclean day a feast day.
And an unclean day a feast day. Right? We see this, right? We see it often, actually. An unclean day, a feast day. Read.
And they will confound all the days, the holy with the unclean.
The holy with the unclean. Read.
And the unclean day with the holy. For they will go wrong as to the months and Sabbaths and feasts and jubilees.
They will know nothing. So I don't care if you're an Israelite or not. If you're keeping the lunar calendar, if you're keeping anything involving the moon, you know nothing concerning the times. You can't tell me anything concerning prophecy. Because you don't know what time is. It says they will go wrong as to the months, the Sabbaths, the feast, and you know nothing about a year. Don't come talking to me. You keeping Passover this year? Are you? Read.
I'm going to go back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
For they will go wrong as to the months, the Sabbaths, and feasts, and jubilees.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 38. For this reason, I command and testify to thee, that thou mayest testify to them.
Mm-hmm.
For after thy death, thy children will disturb them, so that they will not make a year 364 days only.
Read that again.
For they will not make the year 364 days only.
Yeah, how about a 365.42639 day year, guys? What do you think about that? Sound good? How about a 354 day? How about a leap week, guys? Let's add a leap week. Ezekiel said there's a leap week.
Wow.
Right? He said, surely I know this. When you're dead, your children are going to mess this up.
That's right.
And what are they going to do because of it? Read.
Go back just a little bit again.
Mm-hmm.
They will not make the year 364 days only. And for this reason, they will go wrong as to the new moons and seasons and Sabbaths and festivals. And they will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh.
Whoa, it gets so bad to the point to where it's not even just you messing up the seasons and forgetting the ordinances.
Mm-hmm.
You eating a pork chop sandwich now.
Yep.
You calling pork a delicacy.
Mm.
You eating chicharrones, right? You eating pig skins, right? You sitting around there with a lobster tail. You know what I'm saying? See how, and that's not Moses being extreme. He was being literal. And how do we know that he was being literal? Because look at the children of Israel today. Well, let's just cut the pork belly off and then wrap it in some banana leaf and put it in the ground. We're going to cook it that way. Gets rid of all the worms and the disgustingness that's in it.
Mm.
It's a filthy animal, but you know what? It tastes good.
Mm.
Our people would be filthy.
Mm.
Not only would you go wrong, you would lose your connection with the Most High on a seasonal level.
Mm-hmm.
You lose your connection so bad to the point to where you don't even know the difference between clean and unclean.
Mm-hmm.
Our neighborhood is filled with trash. Go into any one of our neighborhoods filled with trash. The same TV. I remember we was in St. Pete.
Mm-hmm.
We was in South St. Pete. The same box TV that was behind that dumpster when I was a kid is still there. It's been 14 years and that same TV is still sitting there.
Mm.
The same sneakers that was up on the wire been there for what, 20 years and it's still there.
Mm.
Filthy. Jacksonville, North Philadelphia, Chicago, Compton, East Cleveland, Palm, Miami, Tallahassee, filthy.
Mm-hmm.
They will eat all kinds of blood with all kinds of flesh. Oh, well, let me get my pork chop medium rare.
Wow.
Only sear it for 2 minutes on each side. I still want a little bit of that blood juice in there. That's our people. Is that not our people? Tell me if I'm wrong at any point. It says, we will keep the Gentiles' holy days and we will eat what the Gentiles eat and do what the Gentiles do. The same things that the Most High told us not to do. Let's get more on the moon. Let's get it. Let's see if Enoch comes to the same calculations that Moses does concerning the moon. Let's get Enoch chapter 72, verse 1.
Enoch.
73. This is actually 73, Slakia.
This is 72.
Yeah, it's 73.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Enoch 73 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
And after this law, I saw another law dealing with the smaller luminary, which is the moon.
Which is the moon. Read.
And her circumference is like the circumference of the heaven. And her chariot in which she rides, is driven by the wind.
Driven by the wind. So she's the same way. Just like the sun's circumference is the circumference of the heavens, so is hers. Notice it calls her a she. This is a feminine angel. Right? So it says that she is driven by the wind. Her chariot is driven by the wind, just like the sun. Read.
And light is given to her in definite measure. And her rising and setting change every month.
Whoa! Say that again.
Her rising and setting change every month.
It's never the same. It's never the same. Read.
And her days are like the days of the sun. And her light is uniform, meaning full. It amounts to the seventh part of the light of the sun.
So if you take the sun and you divide its light by 7, she only amounts to 1 part of the light of the sun. Which is why she doesn't give as much light in the nighttime. Right? Now, Enoch explains, he's going to expound on why it is. This is a feminine angel. Keep that in mind. He's going to explain why we can't follow the moon. Right? Go ahead and get verse 1.
Enoch chapter 73, verse 1. And I saw another course, a law for her. And now, according to that law, she performs her monthly revolution.
It said, go ahead.
Verse 2. And all these, Uriel, the holy angel, who is the leader of them all, showed to me and their possessions. And I wrote down their positions as he showed them to me.
So he's being shown the cycle of the moon. So he's writing down everything she's doing as she does it, as he's being shown. Read.
And I wrote down their months as they were, and the appearance of their lights till 15 days were accomplished. In single 7 parts she accomplishes all her light in the east, and in single 7 parts accomplishes all her darkness in the west. Now, verse 4. And in certain months she alters her settings, and in certain months she pursues her own particular course.
Read that again.
And in certain months she pursues her own peculiar course.
She chooses what she wants to do every now and then, every other month. She's like, you know what? Let me go my own way. She said, you know what? Not feeling like going this direction this year like I did last year. I'm going to take a different route this year. See, the thing about the moon is she still gets the job done, but she does it on her time, on her own. Just like a woman that we know today. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna get to it, but I'm gonna get to it when I'm ready. It's gonna get done, and it's gonna get done on time. But I'm gonna go about doing it how I want to do it. That means that I'm gonna take a break every 15 minutes, or that means that I'm not gonna take a break at all. But depending on how I feel today at work, I'm going to get the job done before it's time to clock out. But you're not gonna dictate the time in which I'm gonna get it done. That's the sisters. And that's the moon. It says, so 1 year she may be full. She may be like, yeah, I'm here, guys. And then next year in that same month on that same day, she's nowhere to be found. And that's why we can't rely on the moon to know where the year is. Because 1 year she's there and the next year she's not. It says in certain months, it didn't even say in specific months. It doesn't even say, well, these are the months when she alters her course. No, she's like, well, you know, month 1, I'm going to do this. And next year, month 1, I'm going to do that. And you know what? And guess what? I'm going to still finish my 354 days when this thing is over, too. Watch. In certain months, she pursues her own peculiar course. So y'all talking about well, you have to wait for the full moon after the equinox. Yeah, you're going to be waiting for a while next year. You're going to be waiting for a while next year. Read.
I'm at 73 now.
Yep.
Enoch.
Verse 14.
Enoch. Okay. Enoch 73, 14. For the moon alone, the days amount in 3 years to 1,062 days.
Okay, so 1,600.
1,062.
1,062, right? Okay, go ahead.
And in 5 years, she falls 50 days behind. Right.
Read.
And verse 15. And in 5 years, there are 1,770 days. Yeah.
Now check this out. So Enoch's saying something here. He says in 3 years to 1,062 days. Somebody divide 1,062 by 3 and tell me what you get.
1,062.
1,062 divided by 3 and tell me what number you get. What do you get?
1,062.
Yeah. No, 1,062 divided by 3.
354.
354. How many days short of a year is that, according to God? 10 days. So every year, she comes 10 days too soon. But check that out. He makes clear that he says this because it says, and in 5 years, she falls 10 days behind. She falls 10 days behind the sun. 50 days. She falls behind 50 days in 5 years. So when you divide 50 by 5, you get 10. 10 days every year she's short. She comes up 10 days short every year. What did Moses say in the Book of Jubilees? How she disturbs the seasons and comes in 10 days too soon. Right. Moses and Enoch saw the exact same thing.
Wow.
She's short. She comes up short. But guess what? She gets the job done. She does it on her time, but she still completes her cycle. See, if we were to reckon our years according to the moon, there would only be 29 days in each month.
Wow.
Only 29 days in each month if we went by the moon. 29 and a half days. 29.5 times 12. What do you get? Somebody do 29.5 times 12.
29.5 times 12.
354 days exactly. So if we were to go by the moon, we're coming up short. Coming up short every year. The moon's course is unreliable for keeping time because she takes her own course every year, resulting in her coming in her cycle 10 days before the sun finishes. Right? This was the goal of Esau. This was the goal of Esau and the heathen. To take Israel off of our clock, off the Most High's clock, so that we couldn't be in sync with our God. When we're celebrating the tabernacles are being celebrated in the heavens. When we're keeping the memorial blowing of trumpets and we're blowing the trumpets, the angels are blowing the trumpets in the heaven. That's what they don't want. Because when we're in sync with our God, we're in the most powerful nation on earth.
That's right. That's right.
That's where our power source comes from. Right? This would make it easier for them to destroy our people. If we can take them out of course of their God and they forget everything, then they lose the natural gifts and abilities that God gave to them. So then we can destroy them. Now, some people might be like, that's a really big conspiracy theory you're putting out there. Can you prove it? Can you prove it, Bishop Taz? Well, yes, I can. Can you prove it? Let's get Daniel chapter 7, verse 23.
Daniel chapter 7, verse 23. It's like, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth.
Now, for those who haven't been here very long, the fourth beast is Rome. Read.
Which shall be diverse from all kingdoms.
It's different from the Greek captivity that came before it. It's different from the Persian Mede captivity that came before that. It's different from Babylon and Assyria. But you know what? It's taking pieces of what made all those nations successful. We're watching a story on Stephen Marbury. He had multiple brothers that came before him that were great at different things. One could shoot. One could dribble real good. Right? And they taught each other how to do what they from going down, they taught, but Stephen Marbury was the last one. So he got all of the good things from his brothers that came before him, which made him better than the rest of his brothers. Because he took a little bit of what they were good at and he eliminated what they were bad at. This is exactly what Rome did. They said, let me take what made each nation successful. Read.
And shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Now, notice, what was the main religion? What's the main religion of all of our nations when you go somewhere? It all stems from Roman Catholicism, right? They're either Roman Catholic or Christian. And in the East, you have a lot of our people who are Muslims. And even the Muslim faith, being as young as it is, took pieces of Roman Catholicism. So when you take into account those things, you would see, it's easy to see that the God of the Romans, the Roman Catholic Church, is ruling the whole earth. Majority of all religion on this planet is Christian. Christianity came from where? Roman Catholicism.
Right.
Read.
Verse 24. And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are the 10 kings that shall rise.
The 10 horns or the 10 kings are the 10 nations of Europe. The main 10 nations of Europe. And the 3 that created the US, where it said that 3 horns are broken out and one sprung up. Those 3 horns was Spain, France, and England. Great Britain. Those three horns were broken off, and from those 3 came a new nation, America. America is made up of the Spaniards, the British, and the French. Read.
And another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
3 of those 7 kings would be subdued by 1. The little horn. Read.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
He shall speak great words against the Most High. Look at America. Everything that America believes is against God. The president saying LGBTQ is okay. Barack Obama going and trying to convince other nations that LGBTQ is okay. Destroying God's people, systematically destroying God's people. Well, it's okay to do this. It's okay to do that. All of these things being against God. Read.
Go back to verse 25.
Yeah.
He shall speak great words against the Most High and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
He shall wear out the saints of the Most High. That means our people are being destroyed, not only in slavery here in America, but also having to fear what's going to happen to us by this in the system. Our men going to prison. Our women being incentivized to keep men out of their homes. Keep families separated, where you get food stamps if there's not a man in the house. The dividing of our families. Having to scratch and claw to get a job good enough to stay above water. Keep your head above water. Read.
And think to change times and laws.
Say that again.
And think to change times and laws.
And shall think to change times and laws. Think to change times and laws. And they did. They said, you know what? 365-day year. You know what? Sabbath isn't on Saturday anymore. It's on Sunday. You know what? You don't have to keep the dietary laws anymore. Christ nailed that to the cross.
Mm-hmm.
Read.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and a dividing of time.
We're going to go into what a time, times, and the dividing of a time is. We're going to get into what that is. The final beast, whom we know to be Esau's kingdom, right? When we look at prophecy, was Esau's kingdom. It's called Rome, who would think to change times and laws in order to rule over the children of Israel. So he would change the times and laws in order to maintain and keep power over the saints, in order to continue to wear out the saints of the Most High. Right? Now, we have to have the understanding of how time works according to the Most High. Now that we have the understanding of how time works according to the Most High, we can now go deeper into the secrets of the consummation of the times. Everybody ready? Well, we're going to be going into this next week. That's going to be next week, right? So next week's lesson is going to be titled, The Most High's Clock 2, Time's Almost Up. Again, that's the Most High's Clock 2, Time's Almost Up. Right? We give all thanks and praise to the Most High for blessing us with this lesson and continuing to give us a wealth of knowledge according to the Most High and his son Yeshua. Continue to give him thanks and praise for that. This lesson, these next couple lessons are going to be heavy, right? Especially concerning the times. But now that we understand how the Most High's clock works, how his time works according to the scriptures, going into next week, now we can begin to break down what these prophecies are talking about and what time we are actually in heading into the consummation of the times. Right?
That's right.
We want to send our prayers, our thoughts, our love over to the body in Sierra Leone. We know you're watching. Shalom, Bishop Michael, Elder Johannes.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you all present for the lesson today. We
bless you all.
Pray that everybody was blessed by this lesson and that there's an understanding. This is a very high content lesson. So it's necessary that you go back and look at this again. Do the calculations yourself. The scriptures say, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. Everything that we showed you, go and prove it.
Right.
Prove it. Right? Go through the scriptures, lay it out as many times you want to, set it up, do however you need to. Right? Prove it. The scripture says, prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. It also tells you to study line upon line, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. Everything in this lesson is laid out clear. Go and do your study. Right? Okay. Elder, you got anything?
No, sir. No, sir.
All right. So with that, we are going to say Shabbat Shalom. Our prayers go out to all of you.
That's right.
Stay prayed up. And make sure that you are on your guard because time is almost up.
That's right.
All praise to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shalom. Bless you all.
The lesson has completed.